A brand new service which we can be proud of is now available at the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. Vascular or ABI screening. Who should get a vascular screening? Persons living with diabetes or persons who experience pain or burning sensation in their legs or toes, especially while they are resting. This is normally referred to as bad circulation. Book your vascular or ABI screening test today by calling the Maria Holder Diabetes Center 243-3937 to get more information and make an appointment. Board members get 10% off.
Good morning, everybody! Happy Gold Cup Saturday to everyone who's tuned in to VOB 92.9 FM. This would include all of Larry and his fabulous friends. It's time for 15 eye-opening minutes with the compliments of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program and the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. This is Peter Boyce here, and when we say eye-opening minutes, we are not making any sport. Your eyes just be open to so many things when you listen to this show. While they have some shows that is trying to pull wool down over your eyes, this show does the opposite because you hear the truth and nothing but the truth direct from health professionals of the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, which is located in Warren St. Michael up there behind Morris Gibson Polyclinic. You know where that is? And it is close to a bus stop too, so you don't have to walk too far if you have to catch the bus to get there. And when you get there, you can find all the services you need to serve your needs as a diabetic. You want your feet looked at? They have podiatry services. Your hair could gonna be big this year and you want to lose some weight so you can participate? They have nutritionist Victoria Cox that you can call and make an appointment, and she can give you a meal plan that as a diabetic will help you to achieve your weight loss goals. There's a vascular screening service, so if you have bad circulation, you can hear more about that later in the show. And there's also eye screening for diabetic retinopathy, which also happens at the Diabetes Center. So all the services you need, you can find at one location. And what is that location? Yes, I can hear you. The Maria Holder Diabetes Center. Wait, that phone ring? Wait, let me see who that is. Larry, pass that phone there. Hello?
There's Alfonso here.
Good morning, Alfonso.
I hear getting ready to go to the Gold Cup because you know that you're going to miss me. But I just say I will call and ask a question. Not that I want you to answer it, you know, Peter Boyce call. You're the idiot. But I heard you just mention diabetic retinopathy. And I have a question for the eye doctor person.
Or you mean Dr. Charles Pierce, clinical lead of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program?
Yeah, that's right. I have a question for Dr. Pierce. My question is, if you already have diabetic retinopathy, can it be cured? That is my question. I will listen for the answer. Thank you very much.
Well, for the answer to that question, we now go to Dr. Charles Pierce.
That's a very good question. So, if you are able to control your diabetes and potentially actually even reverse your diabetes, then diabetic retinopathy to an extent can be reversed. So if you have the very early stages of diabetic retinopathy, what we would say is mild diabetic retinopathy, then it's possible to reverse it to the stage where you have no visible diabetic retinopathy. But if you do have significant diabetic eye changes, then it's unlikely that you're able to cure it, and you'd have to continue with monitoring or treatment.
If a person becomes blind from diabetic retinopathy, if they were to start treatment, can the condition be reversed?
Unfortunately, that is unlikely if you're completely blind, as in you're not able to see any light or very minimal amount of light, something we call as no perception of light or only perception of light. In that case, it's unlikely that you're able to reverse that. However, if there are a lot of changes from diabetic eye disease and you have the appropriate treatment, then there can be some improvement in your vision. But it all depends on how advanced the changes are.
So this underscores that it is important that persons really keep on top of getting their eyes screened.
Absolutely. So what we're trying to do is pick up these changes before they get to the stage where you have significant loss of vision. You want to have the screening done, and if there are any signs of early diabetic eye disease, then we can intervene at that point and make a significant difference to preventing you to go on to have loss of vision.
You heard Dr. Charles Pierce, right? So my question for you at home listening to VOB is, if you're a diabetic, have you had your eyes screened yet for diabetic retinopathy for the year? If not, you best call and make that appointment 243-3937. That self-same number can also get you an appointment for a vascular screening. And you might be saying,
"Hey, Bob, with that vascular screening thing again? Remind me what that is again, boy."
That is like when your legs are swollen and you might have a burning, tingling sensation in your legs or toes. You might need to get a vascular screening.
243-3937.
That's the number to call. So now we are into our vascular segment of the program, where we hear from Dr. Nina Yap, vascular surgeon. Previously, you would have heard us focus on chronic venous insufficiency and PAD, peripheral arterial disease. And remember, you can go to the Diabetes Foundation YouTube page to listen to any of our previous shows to get more information on these conditions. But today, we are asking Dr. Yap, is it common for people to have PAD and chronic venous insufficiency at the same time? Here's what she said.
Can patients have both peripheral arterial disease and chronic venous disease? Meaning, can someone have an artery and a vein problem at the same time? Yes. Would I say it's common? I'd probably say it's not super common, but what can happen is persons can have both, for sure. When a person has an ulcer on their leg and has both problems, meaning an artery problem and a vein problem, that's when it can get a bit tricky, and how do you manage it? So the management is quite different. But yes, you can have both problems. And so that's why I'm saying always make sure you have your doctor involved before you put on those compression stockings, because if you have a circulation problem, you just want to make sure that you're not putting on too tight of stockings that could prevent the little bit of circulation that you might have from getting down to your feet. So you can have both issues.
Thank you, Dr. Nina Yap. And now we are going to our musical break as we go to our song of the day. And as today is Gold Cup Day and a lot of people are going to be headed to the Garrison to enjoy themselves, the Diabetes Foundation reminds you not only to drink responsibly, but to also eat responsibly. Don't get carried away because it's Gold Cup and think you could just eat and drink everything and eat and drink down the house, and then next thing you know, you're in trouble. Remember all of the tips you hear from nutritionist Victoria Cox on this show as to how, as a diabetic, you should be eating even when you're out celebrating. But I digress. Our song for today is based on a Gold Cup race that happened all the way back in 1986. The horse that won that year was Benton. And this is the song that Calypsonian Cubba released, entitled Benton. This one can make you laugh and dance at the same time. Compliments the Maria Holder Diabetes Center.
Contact the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program today at 243-EYES, 243-3937 to find out how you get your simple digital eye screening done. The Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program.
Ticket for the big waist. Have it better for the big waist. Got Bentham to bring for this. I don't think Bentham got lost. Bentham, you is the big boss. Go Bentham, go Bentham, go Bentham, go. Go Bentham, go Bentham, go Bentham, go. Run Bentham, lick them Bentham, pass them Bentham, beat them Bentham. Bentham not them to it. Bentham, you must win this race.
Book your vascular or ABI screening test today by calling the Maria Holder Diabetes Center 243-3937.
win the race easily. Go, Tango, go, Tango, go, Tango, go. Go, Tango, go, Tango, go, Tango, go. Run, Tango. Pass it, Tango. Lick it, Tango. Beat it, Tango. Tango, not them go with. Tango, you must win this race.
We now welcome a patient of the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, Mr. Paul Edwards.
Good afternoon, sir.
How long have you had diabetes and what challenges have you encountered with the condition?
I had diabetes since 2009, and it wasn't when I was working permanently in Barbados. It was when I was working in Grand Prix motor racing, where my driver saw me a little bit woozy when I got off of the plane, and he was a diabetic himself, and he tested me, and I was 22.
Wow.
Blood count. So I was well over. So from that moment onwards, I knew I had a problem. I've been a patient of Maria Holder Diabetic Center for probably about 6-7 years now, since I've lived permanently in Barbados. And I've worked as a chef and in several restaurants in Barbados. But to be fair, I've known Miss Brathwaite, Diane, I've been under her care for this period. And I must tell you that she's been extremely helpful to me and probably saved my toes at least 3 or 4 times in the last few years. From my point of view, I've referred, and Diane has met many of my, probably 2 or 3 colleagues that have had diabetes, and they've also become firm patients of the Maria Holder Center.
In terms of you personally, how did diabetes impact your lifestyle?
Tremendously. When I first discovered in 2009, when I told you that, the first situation for me was having a reading of 22, I was referred to a doctor in Melbourne in Australia, and when I came back to Barbados, which is my place of residence, I immediately contacted Dr. Brown, who referred me to the Diabetic Center, to Diane, obviously just straight away. It impacted me in the way of, I was suffering with my feet terribly, high blood pressure always, not listening to Diane Brathwaite always, because she calls me her bad boy, because she just wonders how I survive. But to cut a long story short, I couldn't have done without them. You actually know, we all went through tough times during COVID, but even when, the going was tough, Diane helped us with some, medicines and made sure that we all got, what we needed to keep going and, to control our diabetes. This facility is top notch. But the long and short of it is, Barbados for many, many years has been known, and sadly, I'm sure that this reputation is getting a lot better. It's always been known as the amputation capital of the world, which is really sad. But with the help of everybody that works at the Diabetic Center, I think we've kind of moved a little bit forward from that now, because you can get help, and I would advise anybody in Barbados who just thinks they may be a diabetic to go to the Diabetic Center. I have nothing but high praise for it.
If you are looking for an institution that's dedicated exclusively to the management of diabetes in Barbados, that offers a range of services that caters to both diabetics and pre-diabetics, the Maria Holder Diabetes Center, located in Warren St. Michael, is the answer for you. Whether it's diabetic eye screening, podiatry, or vascular screening, you will receive a level of service and treatment that exceeds any you might receive regionally or internationally. So if you are listening to your radio right now and need to make an appointment or need more information on any diabetic issue you might have, make that call now at 417-0305 or 243-3937. The last 15 eye-opening minutes you heard on VOB was brought to you with the compliments of the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program and the Maria Holder Diabetes Center. Until next time, remember, your health is your wealth.
Did you know nearly 1 in 5 adults in Barbados have diabetes? Did you know diabetes is one of the leading causes of vision loss in the world? Regular eye screening can save your eyes. Contact the Barbados Diabetic Eye Screening Program today at 243-3937.